few minutes today and talk about your final project. Now, as you can see on the screen, the project outline is placed there. And it says, design a school-wide implementation plan that could potentially be used to incorporate inclusive practices into the framework of a Catholic school. The plan should span a period of 3 years. It can be designed for the school where you currently work. Now, what that means is that your job is to design the framework and a plan for implementing an inclusive school program at your school. Now, if you're currently not in a Catholic school, you can make up the name of a school, but assuming that you are working in a Catholic school. So you need to do that. Now, the project should include the following: a statement of anticipated outcomes for the plan. And this is essential. It says be very specific. That includes an explanation of how your plan is consistent with ISLLC standards. So, you need to decide on what are your anticipated outcomes. You must be specific and you must tie them in with the ISLLC standards. You need to design a timeline for the implementation. Now notice that says a monthly. What are you going to do on a monthly basis for 3 years in order to make this plan work? Now, it says a graphic presentation of activities proposed. Now, you can use any type of graphic organizer that you want, or you might want to create a PowerPoint. Now, why do I say PowerPoint? Well, you might want to look at this part of the project and say, well, I want to use this to make a presentation to my faculty, to my board, to my parents, that will explain what we're going to do, what are we hoping to do, how we're going to do it, and explain it, again, using that 3-year time frame. An outline and description of professional development opportunities and other activities that will lead to the creation of an inclusive school. What are you going to do? Now, in talking to some members of the class so far, they have already come up with ideas of organizations or programs that they have seen or learned about that they want to include as a part of the professional development for their teachers. Now, one of the things that you might also want to do is, what about professional development for your parents? Educating your parents. What are you going to do to educate your students about this new program that you're going to start? Important. Now, what do you need to consider? What will your school look like next year and the next 3 years? Again, that ties directly into your anticipated outcomes. Do it by year as well as by the end of the 3 years. What do you believe? Why do you believe that the changes are necessary? Why do you think this is important? That's your rationale. That's your justification for doing what you're doing. If you cannot justify doing this, then you're going to be in trouble to begin with. So you need to understand why you believe this is important and the changes should take place. What resources will you need? Human and capital. Remember from finance class, we talked about the human. What people do you need to do this? And what resources, what financial resources will you need to make this happen? Yes, you must include those in your analysis. Who will be involved in the change process? What are their roles? That means, what about the leadership on your board, your administration, from your teachers, from your students, from your alumni? Who would you involve in this change process in a leadership role? How would you include them? How are you going to monitor the progress? Again, this ties back into how are you going to evaluate it? How is your plan consistent with federal and state laws and regulations regarding students with disabilities? Now, know that you've been talking in class for the last several months about the federal and state laws regarding students with disabilities that are placed in private schools. Make sure that you reference those in your plan. That's important. How will you use data to make your decisions? What data will you use to ultimately decide whether the program is successful. How will you monitor what is going on? Your plan should be approached from the standpoint of how a school-based team might work together to incorporate inclusive practice into the framework of the school and cultivate a more collaborative culture. Collaborative culture, shared leadership, those are important concepts to remember. Now, you should also include a list of references used in the development of your plan and any possible resources that you would want to provide for your faculty. Now, one of the things, and I'll put this in writing to you as well, this says that it must be sent to me no later than midnight on December the 14th, 2015. That will be changed. I apologize for the change. Unfortunately, due to the fact that I must undergo another eye surgery, which will actually take place on December 15th, it could be difficult for me to read your papers. So what I'm asking you to do, if you would be so kind, if you could get me your papers by December the 10th. If you can send it to me before that, that would be great. But the deadline is going to be changed from the 14th to the 10th. Again, I apologize for the confusion, but unfortunately the eye surgery has to take place on that particular day. So I apologize. The plan must be submitted, again, you see there, using AP format and using 12-point font. Now, people ask, is there a page limit? No, there really isn't. As I have said to you over and over again throughout all the courses that we have had together, I do not grade by the weight. I am looking for a concise, effective plan. I would suggest that your plan, as a maximum, be no more than 20 pages. If you cannot do it in under 20 pages, rethink it. If you can do that in 10 pages, that is also great. So again, take a look at that from that standpoint. The scoring, you'll see the rubric that I've set up for the grades of A, B, and C. Now, at the end of the class, you will get feedback from me on your project, explaining your grade as well. I hope this helps a little bit in clarifying what the final project is all about over the next few weeks. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call or email me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I do appreciate it. Thank you for your patience. And again, good luck on the final project, and let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Appreciate it and have a good day.